Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. Later in the show, we'll chat with lifestyle and food blogger Alana Yazzie, who will tell us about her new cookbook entitled The Modern Navajo Kitchen.
I'm Susan Levi, and today in the studio, we're so excited. We have Jolyana Begay-Kroupa. She's the CEO of Phoenix Indian Center, and Levi, who's the communications coordinator at Phoenix Indian Center. And we're going to talk about the silver and turquoise ball that's coming up. And we're also going to talk a little bit about Phoenix Indian Center and all the great things they do, their programs, how they've moved next door to us. We're excited to have them as neighbors, and I know they have a lot of great stuff planned for the fall. So welcome, Jolyana, and welcome, Levi.
Yeah. Thank you. It's good to be here.
So before we get started, Jolyana, do you want to go first? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Hello to all of our listeners. Tchachitni e nishlin do tsanajini e bashishchin clash che dashache ado ya edana tchachitni dashanale Jolyana Begay-Kroupa Yanishia. So my name is Jolyana. I'm an enrolled member with the Navajo Nation. I come from the community of Fort Defiance, Window Rock, up on the Navajo Nation. But I've been here in the Valley for over 20 years and connected with this organization over about 18 years ago now. And so I serve as the CEO for the Phoenix Indian Center. I'm really excited to be in such an amazing community where there are lots of important programs and services that we provide, and we work alongside each other.
Yat esh e Levi long inishe, maidishkijni nishle, do zeltaki ani bashashin, todachini dashache, sitnajini dashanele, and I am a citizen of the Navajo Nation. I do serve as the communications coordinator with Phoenix Indian Center, and I've been there for almost 3 years, and I absolutely love the job.
Oh my goodness. I know Jolyana said 18 and Levi 3. Mm-hmm. Time flies, doesn't it?
It does.
All right. So Levi, tell us a little bit about Phoenix Indian Center. And I think you've got lots and lots of programs, right?
We do, yep.
All right.
And just to give you some background, the center is actually the oldest continuing urban American Indian nonprofit center in the U.S. It was formed during the Indian Relocation Act, and we were founded in 1947 under the leadership of Mr. Leon Grant, who was an Omaha tribal member. Him and other people helped really found this center as a meeting place, for Native Americans who were relocating into the valley. And, since then, we've become a home away from home for many people. Today, the center serves more than 9,500 individuals and more than 25,000 urban American Indian people annually through a lot of our related outreach. But yeah, we have 5 primary service areas in job readiness, language and culture, youth services, prevention programs, and also our civic engagement programs. Plus, we also have been organizing more community events and culturally based events each year.
You guys do so much stuff. I can't believe it. Like every time I look at your social media, there's more and more great things happening.
Yeah.
So we're so glad that you're next to us now.
Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to do the math. 1947 to today, how many years is that?
77.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'm impressed. You guys can do math faster than I can. So tell us a little bit about your new location. I know you're right next to Native Health Central at 4041 North Central,
yep,
which is at the southeast corner of Central and Indian School. And I know you can enter the building and the parking lot off 2nd Street. And I know there's free parking in the garage. But tell us more about the building. How big is it? I think you have a conference room, right? And some other stuff that's available.
Yeah, we moved into our new 2-story building over the summer. Then we hosted our grand opening with a community celebration in August. Our first floor primarily is conference space, classrooms. We have a computer lab. We also have Tana Autumn Community College. Their Phoenix location is also located inside our building. So we have a lot of really great tie-in with TOCC with a lot of their classes, instructors there, during the week. Our second story is where we have our administration offices, our conference rooms, and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, we love the space. We're right here in Midtown Phoenix, right off of the light rail on the southeast corner of Indian School and Central. And as you mentioned, we do have validated parking for people who come and visit our center.
So a question, on the first floor you said you've got a computer lab. Is that open to anybody or is that for a specific program?
Yeah, so it depends. A lot of it is usually set up for our workforce development participants, and then any other, participants who are a part of our other programming, they usually have access to that. But in our lobby, we also do have open computers where you can come in and use it to, print out your resumes, or if you need help, accessing the internet, you can come into the center without an appointment and come in and use the computers there.
So I know you have a lot of really wonderful, fun events. I attend a lot of them and love them. Can you tell us, one of my favorites is the Silver and Turquoise Ball. So Jolyana, can you tell us, what is the Silver and Turquoise Ball? How long have you been doing it? What can people expect? Mm-hmm. I know it's very fancy and lots of great silent auction items.
Yes, it is actually a wonderful event that has elevated itself over the last several years. We're truly excited about just the growth and the record-breaking numbers that we've taken ourselves through over the last several years. So the Silver and Turquoise Ball is really the beacon of support for our American Indian and Indigenous families as we, navigate here in the urban landscape. This ball is our commitment to fostering the connection we have with our community by bringing in unrestricted dollars so that we can support our relatives through our programs and our services. The Silver and Turquoise Ball is, that one way where we bring in funds. For instance, we've got to have food at our events when we gather, right? And in some of our grants, you can't buy food. Right. That's where the importance of the dollars raised here. We purchase, wellness sage bundles, sweetgrass, things that resonate with us as Indigenous peoples. We make sure that is implemented and given out to our community in many of our programs that we offer. So that makes this event so important. And this year, we're thrilled to be able to announce the 41st annual Silver and Turquoise Ball. It'll be held on October 18th at the Talking Stick Resort, which is on the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community. And this year, the theme of our event is Elevating Indigeneity, Community, Culture, and Commerce. And it's really going to be an event where we highlight thriving businesses, thriving communities, and our thriving culture that really tell the story of who we are. So that evening, the event is going to be a celebration, that features an American Indian inspired dinner. We're going to have a culturally enriched entertainment. And of course, I think the signature piece is that silent auction where we feature beautiful, exquisite Native American art, jewelry, textiles, and of course, amazing experiences that our businesses, our friends and supporters give to us to then put into our silent auction. We're so excited about this event. It is going to bring 800 people this year.
Oh my gosh, 800?
So we have increased. Last year, we sold out about 60 days prior to the event. So we've increased the number of tables that we're going to have. So we're going to have about 800 people in the room on that Friday night.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot of people. Okay, so I know you said it's Friday, October 18th. Mm-hmm. Are tickets available yet?
Tickets are available for this event. There's also a few more tables left. So it's, we're getting really close. We're about 27 days away from the event. And there is an online website where you could go to take a look at the information on, how to, register and get yourself at the event to be at in Indian country.
I know it's people dress up, It's beautiful. It's like the place to be seen. It's like the social event of the year.
Yes, it is.
I don't know if I should say that, but it is. I mean, it's like the big, I know people talk about it and really want to go, and sad when they can't get tickets, and they really regret that they didn't move faster. So I guess that would be your call to action, is get on that website and get those tickets and take a look at the silent auction. I also know people that have gotten some great things from the silent auction, some beautiful jewelry, textiles, and also the experiences that are offered through some of the packages.
Yes, and we're actually putting the silent auction out about a week prior to the actual event date, which gives you some time to look through the beautiful pieces that we'll be showcasing.
So, since I'm a foodie, can you give me like just a little preview on what the menu is, or not really?
It is the element of surprise.
Okay.
You're going to have to be there. But I will say you will not be disappointed. We have Chef Nella coming back for her second year. She is excited about this delicious meal that we're going to share and enjoy that evening. It is the element of surprise.
Okay. And I know it's the place to be seen.
It is the place to be.
So, Levi, do you have any special entertainment plan for that night?
Yes, we do. It is going to be a surprise, though. So a lot of our guests, I think, are going to be very pleased with our culturally relevant, culturally based entertainers who will be there that evening.
I wanted like a, okay. All right. I'll have to get my ticket and go.
Yes.
Yes, you do.
So, Levi, are you honoring or recognizing anyone this evening at the Silver and Turquoise Ball?
Yes. So this year we are honoring and awarding Mr. Jacob Moore as our 2024 Leon Grant honoree. Mr. Moore is Vice President and Special Advisor of American Indian Affairs at Arizona State University. He is Tana Atam, Akamila Atam, Lakota, and Dakota. His primary focus is to advise the university on increasing the recruitment, retention, and graduation rates of Native students and Indigenous students pursuing their degrees. And Mr. Moore definitely brings a lot of extensive experience in tribal government, economic and community development, healthcare policy, banking, gaming, and education. So the fact that he is going to be the Leon Grant honoree is sort of a no-brainer. I mean, he has just done so much work in our community. He's a huge supporter of the Phoenix Indian Center. And so I think that it's going to be a really awesome evening to see him get this award.
He totally deserves it.
Yeah.
He has done so much, and just a kind, wonderful, and does so many things for so many people and organizations.
Agreed.
So I'm super glad that he's getting that award. Okay, so Jolyana, do you have a favorite memory from the Silver and Turquoise Ball?
I have been to several Silver and Turquoise balls today. They're really, every year, I feel like it gets better and better. I think my favorite memory is the year that the Phoenix Indian Center was celebrating 75 years of us being in operation. The goal for our silent auction that night was to raise $75,000, and we did it. It was truly phenomenal to be in the room and see all of our friends and supporters, decide to give to an important organization. It was that sense of community that was really powerful and is my favorite memory.
So, Levi, where can people find out information on Silver and Turquoise Ball, how to get tickets, all your other events?
Yep. Our social media is definitely a good place to go. Our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, but our website is also like the best place to go. phxindcenter.org. You can see all of our events coming up with our Phoenix Indian Center powwow happening October 12th. Information about Silver and Turquoise Ball, and then also the Arizona American Indian Excellence in Leadership Awards happening in November.
You guys have great stuff coming up. Super excited.
It's exciting.
So, Jolyana, when and where is the Silver and Turquoise Ball, just in case somebody forgets?
The Silver and Turquoise Ball is going to be held Friday, October 18th, 2024, at the Talking Stick Resort in Scottsdale, Arizona. Doors open for registration at 5 p.m. We're going to have the silent auction, and the program begins at 7 p.m. that evening.
But you have to buy your tickets in advance because it sells out, right?
Gonna need to buy your ticket. Get to the website to purchase.
Jolyana, what's the website, or where do you get the tickets?
You can visit the Phoenix Indian Center webpage to find more information about the Silver and Turquoise Ball. And our webpage is phxind,
And then at the top, there's something that says events, right? And then you just pull down and you could get your tickets.
Yep.
That's
okay,
correct.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to get my ticket today.
Awesome.
We will see you there.
Yeah.
Coming up on Native Talk Arizona, we'll chat with lifestyle and food blogger Alana Yazzie. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org. Native Talk Arizona returns after this song. You are listening to Singing Lights by Tony Duncan and Darren Yazzie.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. And I'm Susan Levy, and in the studio with us today is Alana Yazzie, lifestyle and food blogger who enjoys sharing her experiences on her website, The Fancy Navajo. And she has a new book coming out, and we are so excited. I got to have a preview. Alana, welcome back to Native Talk Arizona. It's great to have you.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, you were like the best.
Thank you.
So before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and your background.
Well, hello everyone. Yat a Alana Yazzie Yanishia Tutsoni Nishla Tatnasani Bajchin Tabarashiche Kiani Dashanale. Hello everyone. My name is Alana Yazzie. I am born for the Big Water and Tangle clans. I am originally from northern New Mexico, but I currently live here in Phoenix, Arizona. And I am the creator of the Fancy Navajo, which is a lifestyle and food blog that follows along my life as a contemporary Diné woman living here in the city. And throughout the years, so I started the Fancy Navajo in 2014, I've shared a variety of things. So from fashion to my travels to gardening. But what I'm most known for are my recipes, specifically my recipes that incorporate indigenous ingredients like blue corn, that is like the most popular. But throughout all of that, something fabulous came out of this, which is my book, The Modern Navajo Kitchen, which comes out on October 8th.
Oh my gosh, that's a couple weeks away.
I know, it came by so quickly.
Okay, so I'm going to back up. So how did you come up with the name The Fancy Navajo?
So the Fancy Navajo really came from the people that follow me. So when I first started posting on Instagram, that was back in 2014. Instagram was totally different from where it is now. And so there weren't a lot of like Native American influencers or anything like that. So the type of content I was sharing was new new, and especially presenting it in a way that people saw as fancy. So people would say, oh my gosh, your Navajo taco is fancy, your blue corn mush is fancy. And I'm like, what makes it so fancy? And I had to really look at those elements of what they were talking about. But it was just simply things like having a blue corn mush with like a gold spoon or something, or having my meals with some flowers. And people really saw that as like, oh my gosh, that's so fancy. So we put two and two together, Fancy Navajo, and the brand was created.
And so that was 10 years ago.
Yes. It's been over a decade, and I can't believe that. Like, it's been so long since then.
Oh my gosh. So I would say you're more of like lifestyle. I mean, definitely a chef and everything else, but would you say the same thing? It's more like a lifestyle that you're promoting, sort of?
Yeah, so it's definitely my lifestyle, my everyday life. I don't necessarily call myself a chef because I didn't go to any culinary school or training, which I think people appreciate, because a lot of the things that I share are from my home life. So like, I'm a home cook. I'm someone who's sharing what I'm making every day, what I'm wearing every day, what businesses I'm supporting, and where I'm going. So,
but don't you think that's more realistic anyway? Mm-hmm. And how many people can cook like real chefs, classically trained chefs every day?
Yes,
you
absolutely.
Like for your family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got to make something quick and easy and healthy and fast. Okay, so you said you have the new book. It's called The Modern Navajo Kitchen, correct?
Yep, The Modern Navajo Kitchen, home-style recipes that celebrate the flavors and traditions of the Dene.
So what kind of recipes do you have in there?
So the book has over 60 recipes, and it's a fusion of traditional and modern recipes. So it kind of goes into more like traditional Navajo recipes like blue corn mush or kneel down bread, but then it kind of also talks about modern ways to use some of those traditional ingredients in more modern day cuisines. Like we have a recipe for Navajo boba milk tea or blue corn cupcakes.
So it's probably like asking about a favorite relative. Do you have a favorite recipe in there?
I do. My favorite recipe is a red chili braised mutton stew. And I just love it because, growing up, a lot of Navajo foods, they are soup and stews and stuff. But a lot of times we don't season the mutton. We just kind of take in those natural flavors of the meat. And this one really incorporates some chili flavor. And so I'm originally from New Mexico, so I love my green chili, my red chili, and I really wanted a way to add in the red chili, and so it's roasted in the red chili for like an hour or two, and it is so good. And I like to pair it with blue corn tortillas, and it's just like the perfect meal that you'll make, and it'll just like wow you. It'll wow your guests, it'll wow whoever you're cooking it for. If it's you, your family, they'll really enjoy it.
Do you make it pretty often?
No, I haven't made it often because you do have to make your own little red chili sauce.
Oh, okay.
And getting mutton here in the valley is like a little bit harder, but I did find some good resources at AJ's Fine Foods, and so that's only a little bit harder part is getting access to some good mutton.
So do you have any lifestyle tips in the book also?
So the book also includes what we call the Navajo Pantry. And so it kind of lists out all of the ingredients that, are in Navajo cuisine, and kind of highlights some of the ingredients that we use throughout the book, as well as equipment and tools that, may not necessarily be part of everyone's everyday kitchen. And we also have resources on, like what I said, of like sometimes these ingredients are hard to come by. And so there is a resource for people to buy these ingredients online from Indigenous or Navajo producers as well. So we really try to like lay out all the tools for you, so that way it's super easy to make these recipes in like your everyday lifestyle. And one other thing we did is we also did like a meal plan, like a weekly meal plan, so you can kind of incorporate this into your everyday life as well.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's jump back to the pantry. So what kind of items would be in your pantry in the book?
So a lot of Navajo cooking, obviously indigenous cooking, involves a lot of corn. So we have different varieties. So white corn, yellow corn, blue corn, and we have corn in a variety of ways. So you have like ground cornmeal. A lot of times in Navajo cooking we use steamed corn or nishtiji. So we have all of those corn elements there, as well as like a lot of fresh produce, so like fresh corn, zucchini, squash, as well as having a variety of meats on hand, mutton being the biggest one, but I also give substitutions to mutton. So instead of using mutton in these recipes, you can use beef instead, or you can even substitute it for something else. And so wherever you can't find something, we try to find options that you can use instead.
And then you said the tools or the implements for cooking, that's also listed in there with producers, so indigenous manufacturers or companies that make those items?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I wanted to really call out the Navajo food producers first. So there are a lot of different online resources. So one of my favorite ones is Bitty Baby Foods.
Oh yeah, Zach.
So yeah, so they sell steamed corn online, and I think that's really awesome because a lot of times I get questions like, where do we buy these things? And it's really cool that these farmers are really starting to showcase their businesses in a way to where people can buy them like wherever they live. And so that was one of the resources I have. There's also Takabe. They're not Navajo, but they are also indigenous. They have like a big indigenous food stores, which has all sorts of things from like cornmeal to maple syrup to basically any type of indigenous food. So they're also included in there as well.
Okay. And I know there's a fair amount of producers, and there's some other websites you can find things. Mm-hmm. And, okay, so how did you, like in the book, how did you capture the essence of cooking and your family life? Is it through photos in the book or stories?
So yeah, I really try to capture that through the photos, and that's something that I was really excited that I was able to capture these photos on my own, because a lot of times when it comes to like traditional publishing, a lot of these photos are taken by non-natives, and I feel like sometimes they really take on these very stereotypical pictures of what it means to be Native American. And for me, that doesn't always resonate with me, because a lot of times they like to think about things from the past traditions, and it kind of makes it seem like Native people don't exist in this modern world. So it was really important for me to take those pictures and showcase the food in the way I see them in my kitchen, in a very vibrant and colorful way that people might not be used to seeing Navajo foods in. And I was very fortunate that my publishers allowed me to do that. And, they gave me little guidelines here and there. But for the most part, I got to style the photos how I wanted. And, they really let me decide which recipes I wanted to put in the cookbook. So that way it was a blend of both traditional and modern recipes.
And so they were done in your house?
Mm-hmm, yep, they were done in my house. And I have a daughter. And so when I was writing this book, I would put her down for nap time, and then I would go quickly to work. I'd be like cooking things, photographing things, and trying to get as much as I could within her nap time before she would wake up. And it was just so precious, because she would wake up and she'd be like, "What are you doing? I want to help." And so I was able to capture like some pictures of like her hand kind of going into the photos, and she's like, "Yum, this is so good." So it was really cool that she was part of that process, but it definitely was a lot of work trying to get those done as I had time.
During nap time?
Mm-hmm.
So what's her favorite recipe, do you think?
Oh, she really likes the Cheith Chin yogurt popsicles. She loves those. So that has their yogurt popsicles with raspberry and Cheith Chin, and she just loved those. She kept asking for more and more and more, and as I was taking photos of them, she had like 2 popsicles in her hands, and I was like trying to tell her like, "No, only eat one," and she just enjoyed it. And since it was the Greek yogurt, I was like, it's okay. It's healthy.
That's awesome. So what message or feeling do you want people to take away from reading the book? or browsing through it. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. The colors that you chose, and really, I would say some of it is fancy, but I would love to have flowers on my table. And I think the way you present things, it's so beautiful. But do you want people to feel connected to the culture, or I don't know, what would you like people to think about or feel when they look at the book?
I want them to feel excited about Navajo cooking, just because a lot of times, we don't really think about indigenous or native foods a lot, especially when it comes to like everyday cooking. A lot of times it's just reserved for those special events, special occasions. But I want them to have the tools with this book to incorporate it into their everyday cooking. And I really hope that it's a starting point for a lot of people to not only start cooking with Navajo foods, but having those conversations with their families about, how are these recipes special to their family? What makes their family history unique to this recipe? Because, the Navajo Nation is very large. And I made that very apparent in the introduction of that. My recipes and my knowledge of Navajo cooking is based around where I grew up, which is northern New Mexico, which is completely different landscape from like someone who lives in Arizona or like the different parts. And so our cultural knowledge might be just slightly different. But I hope they really start to have those conversations about it and kind of see what makes it unique. And, a big part of the book is having these recipes in a written format. And, in like indigenous cultures, a lot of our history is very oral. And so, my mom always encouraged me to write down the recipes, and hopefully it'll encourage them to write down the recipes so that way they can, pass down those recipes to, the future generations.
Do you think that, and probably your daughter, and maybe she'll modify your recipes a little bit or to her liking as she gets older, do you think it's easier to find ingredients, indigenous ingredients more now than it used to be? They seem like they're more readily available and online in different producers.
Yeah, so they are definitely a lot easier to find because before, social media, a lot of these ingredients you'd have to go back to your homelands to get. And that's what I usually do. Like I used to stock up on things and have them throughout the year. But really, with the advances of technology, a lot of these producers are able to sell them directly to consumers, which is awesome. There's no like middleman. And so I'm glad that I have resources now to show people where they can buy these things. And I think that's really cool. And I hope it continues. I hope there's more native producers who are starting to sell online.
I think there's more. I mean, I hear of more and see more, and I think there's more of the agencies that are kind of making lists of different places where you can buy like the indigenous producers and things like that. So do you think everybody's going to enjoy the cookbook, or do you think just individuals that are interested in indigenous cooking? You think it's got a wide audience? I hope it does.
Yeah, I would think this book is for everyone. I especially like people who enjoy food. They love cooking. I think people will really appreciate the more modern recipes and kind of seeing indigenous ingredients kind of used in a more modern way that'll entice them to want to try it. But yeah, it's definitely also for the indigenous communities as well. Like for a lot of us, we don't have a lot of these written recipes, and so it'll really be a resource and tool for people to learn these recipes, especially for those who may not have grown up in a family where they were taught these things. And so over the years through the Fancy Navajo, that's kind of been things that people have shared, like, oh, I'm so glad you have these on your website because, I didn't grow up on the Navajo Nation or whatever. So it's really a tool that I hope everyone will use.
I think it's important, and you learn the culture, the history. I wish I had recipes from my family, and they never wrote them down, and can't remember, all the special ingredients that were in there. So I just think it's a beautiful book. So what do you think you're going to do next after this book? Are you thinking another book? I see you kind of like as a TV personality and doing like a whole, I don't know, Target collection or something.
That would be amazing. I'm not sure what I want to do next. I think, there's all this time that I spent working on the book, and I was very quiet about me working on the book. So now that it's finally out there for people to see what I've been working on, like I definitely really want to highlight all of this hard work that was put in there. But, having like my own cooking show would be really nice.
I see you doing that.
And it would be fun to have some more like personal branded items that I could showcase, but really it's just kind of whatever is out there I'm willing to give a try, but right now just highlighting the cookbook.
I definitely see you like as cooking show and Target, like a whole Target special, the Fancy Navajo, everything, branded everything. I think that would be pretty amazing. How long did it take you to write the cookbook?
So the cookbook, in terms of like when it started, that was about maybe a year and a half. But in terms of like writing out all of the recipes, that's something that's, for a very long time, because a lot of these recipes, come from, my grandma, my mom, their family recipes that, I've learned ever since I was little. And so it's just kind of like a culmination of all those years wrapped up into these recipes. And, I was able to come up with newer recipes within that time frame of like, creating new things to kind of get to those 60 recipes, which is a lot of recipes,
yeah.
And trying to create ones that people would find interesting and want to make. So yeah.
So when you read it, and I've never written a cookbook, so I assume like you think, okay, I need an entree or however you classify it, and then do you write down the recipe and then try it and then go back and say, wait, I should have tweaked this. I needed more red chili. Is that how it works? And then you go back and rewrite the recipe?
So usually it'll start with an idea, and then after I have the idea, I kind of just like am experimenting in the kitchen. I'll do one run of the recipe, and I'll kind of be like, oh, like it's missing this, it's missing that. I think if we add it. So it's me remaking the recipe a few times and just adding in different ingredients and having to write it down. The writing down is always just a little bit difficult for me now because I'm a little bit more I guess advanced in my cooking, so like I don't usually measure stuff, but for the cookbook, like I have to like write down like, okay, we need to add like an extra half a teaspoon of this in there, or maybe we won't do this the next time, and just making it multiple times. And then my husband, he's like the ultimate taste tester. He's brutally honest, and so he'll say like, nope, this doesn't work, or yep, you got a winner. So what did he say during a lot of this? Did he like doing this? He enjoyed doing it. He was super proud of what I was doing, but whenever I did the photos for the book, it was about maybe 3 weeks of so where we were just eating nothing but Navajo foods. And the way I planned out all of this was where we'd had like 1 week of like cooking all the mutton recipes. So at that end of that week, like we did not want anything to do with mutton. He was like, I'm so glad you cooked, but I don't think I can have another mutton stew again for a while. Or he would say things like, oh, I'm starting to have a little bit too much corn. Like, can we have something else? But it's just because we were eating it so frequently.
So then that makes me think of, in the cookbook, is it divided by sections? So like breakfast foods, lunch foods, dinner foods, or is it salads? How is it organized?
Yeah, so that was actually a really fun part about writing the book, because when you think of indigenous Navajo cooking, you don't really think of it in sections like that. It's just food that we all eat together, no matter the time or day. So we sectioned off the book into breads, breakfast, soups and stews, main dishes, desserts, sides, and pantry staples, and drinks. And so that was really cool to kind of break out those things and kind of, so it's like, okay, this is what we have for this section, and this section, and kind of seeing like maybe there's a little bit of disparities of like, oh yeah, like why don't we have like a lot of like, native drinks, or why don't we have a lot of Navajo sides? And so it gets you kind of thinking like, oh yeah, all right, well, let's create a recipe for this because, this area is lacking.
So what do you have in the drink section?
So for the drink section, one of my favorites is a sumac berry spritzer. And so it incorporates a traditional Navajo ingredient, which is cheech chin or ground sumac berry. And it's like a kind of like a soda drink. So it has raspberries in it and some sugar. And it's just this really light and kind of like fruity drink that you can have. And it just makes you feel like so fancy and special because it has like the little bit of the fizz to it, and I just love it.
So how would you make it even fancier? Would you serve it in a special glass with a straw and an umbrella, or?
Absolutely. If I was serving it to a guest, I'd probably put it in like a cute little pink clear glass, and it would definitely it'd be topped with like a fresh raspberry and maybe incorporating some of those whole sumac berries on top just to make it a little bit more fancy.
Very pretty. Okay, and what would you serve with it? Would it be like a cookie, or I don't know, what would you make and serve?
So with that one, I would probably do let's see here, if we're going to mix up flavors, I would probably do it with a blue corn cupcake because you have your fancy drink, and I just love the blue corn cupcakes, and it would just pair well together.
Okay, and what kind of plate would you put it on?
Probably a pink plate because I love pink everything, or like a neutral color plate, and you can put it on there. But I think the highlight would be baking the cupcake in like a gold cupcake liner. So that way it gives it that extra flair. And then topping the blue corn cupcake with pinions. And actually through the Fancy Navajo, I became a little bit more well known through the recipe for blue corn cupcakes, and so people often call the topping pinion sprinkles, which I thought was so cool. Like people are just so creative, and so we call them little pinion sprinkles on top.
And so how would you describe a pinion sprinkle?
So for that, it's just like a unshelled pinion nut or pine nut, and it's just the nut in all its glory, and it just sprinkle on there because pinions are quite small, and so it's just like the nice little top to a blue corn cupcake.
And it looks pretty.
Mm-hmm. It does look pretty.
Let's see. So the book is coming out October 8th, and where's it going to be available?
So you can buy the book wherever books are sold. So you can purchase it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Goodreads, and even your local bookstores. And if your local bookstore doesn't sell it, you should definitely tell them they should, because it's going to be an amazing cookbook.
And so I also wanted to ask, are you doing a book signing?
So yeah, we're going to have a book launch event probably after the book is released. I haven't have all the details quite yet, but as soon as I do, I will share that on all of my social medias. But there are future events in Flagstaff and Durango, Colorado, as well as Tucson. So once all those details are like fully confirmed, I will share it on my socials for everyone.
Okay, let us know. We'll definitely post it. Mm-hmm. Do you see, and I'm going to backtrack a little bit, do you think, are there very many Indigenous cookbooks?
So there are and there aren't. So in terms of like Navajo cookbooks, this would be one of the first where it's solely talking about Navajo foods, especially a cookbook that's written by a Navajo woman, especially a young Navajo woman. A lot of the cookbooks out there are written by non-natives, or their stories being told by someone else. And so it was really exciting to be able to do this. And I think there's like one other Navajo cookbook. I forget what it's called. It's called The New Native Kitchen. And that was written by a Navajo chef, Freddie Bitsui. Mm-hmm. So there is that one. And then, of course, you have the big cookbook out there. What is it called? The Sous Chef. The Sous Chef's book is out
By Sean
there.
Sherman.
Yeah, by Sean Sherman. And there are a lot of other books. Haven't really looked into those, but in terms of Navajo cookbooks, this would be one of the first.
And it's also the other cookbooks that I've looked at that you've mentioned aren't really lifestyle like yours. I sort of see yours as also a lot of lifestyle with the pictures and things like that.
Yeah, so what kind of makes my cookbook a little bit different than other Native cookbooks is, like I had mentioned earlier, like I'm not a chef, so these are really meant to be home-style recipes that you can create in your kitchen, because as much as we love to make all of these really fancy, complicated dishes, a lot of us don't have time to do that. And, these recipes are easy and simple to make. It takes less than an hour for most of them, and it doesn't really require a lot of ingredients. And, we try to give you all the tools to make sure that you can make everything.
So, Alana, has your family seen the cookbook?
No, they haven't. I actually just got my own copy recently.
Oh, yeah, I saw that on social media, like you opening it.
Yeah, so I'm going to be heading home this coming weekend, and I'm going to show them all the work I've been doing the last year or so. And so it'll be really exciting for them to see all of this come together, because they were really a big part of this, of like telling a little bit of our family history, but also, they helped a lot in having those conversations about things that I, didn't fully understand. And they took the time to sit with me to explain, like, oh, this is what this means, this is what that means. And it's going to be really exciting for them to see this.
Have they seen, like, how close is the dummy copy to the real copy?
So the dummy copy that I had been showing on social media, that is just the cover. There's nothing inside. It's completely...
Oh, so they've never, like, no idea on any of this?
Well, they did see, like, whenever I got, like, the digital version of it to kind of like go over and like approve and stuff, so they kind of saw that, but that's kind of hard to like visualize, like scrolling like on my phone,
right? What it really looks like and feels like.
Yeah, and feels like. So I'm really excited for them to physically see it and get to see, like I said, what I've been working on.
Because paper copies, I don't know, I like paper cookbooks more than digital, but I know a lot of people like digital. Is this going to be available like on Kindle or any other formats?
Yeah, so that's really exciting. So the book is available for purchase on Kindle, which is really cool. So that's on Amazon, and people have already bought versions. They've shared it. They're like, "Look, I got the Kindle version."
Oh, you can get the Kindle one now?
No, like it's for pre-order.
Oh, it's still pre-order.
It's still
okay.
for pre-order, but I was surprised how many people wanted that kind of more digital version of the cookbook. But it makes sense because there's a lot of those like digital readers now, like you can have on your
when you're cooking,
so
or on the plane.
Yeah, so that's
I don't know.
cool.
I kind of see it. The cover's really pretty and vibrant. I kind of see it as a coffee table cookbook too, like putting it on the coffee table with your flowers and your pink vase or something.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's been sitting on my countertops, and every time I look at it, I'm like, wow, that looks really nice. Like, let's just keep that there for forever.
That's awesome. And I'm sure your parents are going to be and your family, they're going to be so proud.
Yeah, they're going to be so proud.
Oh. Okay, I can't wait to get my own copy. I pre-ordered it, so if I pre-ordered it, it'll ship right around the 8th?
I think it'll come to you on the 8th.
Oh, well.
That's my understanding. Like, they'll ship it out, and so it'll reach you on the 8th.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I'll put it on my calendar, but I've already ordered it. All right, well, congratulations again. Again, what's the title of the book?
It's the Modern Navajo Kitchen, home-style recipes that celebrate the flavors and traditions of the Diné.
By Alana Yazzie, right?
Yes.
And so if somebody's to search it on Amazon or their favorite bookseller, they would look up the Modern Navajo Kitchen, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it's coming out October 8th, and you can pre-order it. Is that right?
Yeah, so you can pre-order it now. Like I said, wherever books are sold. I'm not sure when this is going to be aired, but if anyone pre-orders it before October 8th, they can enter a fun little giveaway that my publisher is hosting. And so we're going to give away 2 sets of, like, we're calling it the Fancy Navajo Essentials Kit. So you can win a bag of roasted blue cornmeal, as well as Navajo stirring sticks and a small enamelware mixing bowl. And so that link is on my website, thefancynavajo.com. You can just enter your information of where you purchased it, and you can be entered into that fun little giveaway.
And I'm sure that's going to look so cute because, and probably with some pink, right? Because you like pink.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, you are well on your way to a whole lifestyle series. And what social media handles do you have?
So you can find me on Instagram at The Fancy Navajo, on Facebook at The Fancy Navajo blog. You can also find me on my website, thefancynavajo.com.
And if somebody wants to email you or reach out, how best way, website?
Yeah, you can reach out my website, or you can email me, thefancynavajo@gmail.com.
Okay. And we really appreciate it. We always love seeing you, and you always do the most amazing things, and people love you. So we're super excited. That's like been the buzz that we've all been talking about at the office today. Well, not just today. When we heard you were coming out with the book, everybody's like, oh my gosh. And I would say well over half of us have already pre-ordered your book.
Oh, that's so
we're
amazing.
Super excited, and you're always so personable and sweet and genuine, and so happy for you, and what a great accomplishment.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate all of Native Health's support throughout my years of, like, really giving me a platform to share all the things I love. So, the cookbook is not just about me, but it's also the community that's helped me get to where I am today. So I appreciate it.
Well, congratulations. It is going to be a hit, and we can't wait to see where you go next. I know you're going to be doing a lot. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and 90.7 FM KRDP. Our executive producer is Susan Levy. Sound engineer is Javier Quiroga. We hope you will tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please reach us at nativetalkaz@listentoKRDP.com.